What if I told you that in just a few hours, the Open Championship was turned completely upside down? Nobody expected Lucas Herbert to rewrite the headlines with a record-matching front nine. Rory McIlroy was fighting to keep his championship hopes alive after a disappointing opening round. Eric Cole suddenly exploded with one of the lowest rounds of the entire tournament, while Matt Wallace quietly stormed into contention. And as the winds at Royal Birkdale began to change, the leaderboard transformed almost every few minutes. This wasn't just another day of golf, it was pure major championship drama, where one shot changed everything. Before we break down every unbelievable moment, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we bring you the biggest golf news, breaking updates, and championship stories every single day. Now, let's dive into the incredible Round 2 action that has completely reshaped the race for the Claret Jug. Birkdale hosted Round 2 of the 2026 Open Championship, and the leaderboard shifted repeatedly as the day progressed. Early scoring chances, changing weather, and several standout rounds combined to reshape the tournament before the weekend rounds began. The biggest story of the morning came from Lucas Herbert. He started the day without much attention on him, but that changed quickly. He completed the front nine in just 28 strokes, matching the championship record for the lowest front nine score. That single stretch of golf placed him directly into contention and showed how fast the leaderboard could move once a player took advantage of calmer morning conditions. Herbert built his run on accurate driving, precise iron play, and confident putting. At Royal Birkdale, scoring opportunities have to be earned. The fairways are narrow, the rough punishes any miss, and the greens reward players who consistently find the correct position on approach. Herbert combined all three elements across his opening 9 holes, creating multiple birdie chances and converting them without hesitation. While Herbert made his move at the top, other players were also putting together significant rounds. Matt Wallace completed one of the strongest rounds among the early starters, signing for a 66. That score pushed him near the top of the clubhouse leaderboard and kept him firmly in contention heading into the weekend. Wallace's round demonstrated the value of steady, consistent play rather than one explosive stretch. He managed the difficult holes efficiently and capitalized whenever a scoring chance appeared. That balanced approach stood out on a day when many competitors struggled to sustain momentum across all 18 holes. Eric Cole also delivered one of the biggest stories of the day. He entered the second round needing to improve his position, and he answered with one of the best rounds of the tournament. After entering the second round needing improvement, Cole responded with a brilliant 64. It became one of the lowest rounds recorded during the championship and significantly improved his tournament position. Cole's performance showed how quickly fortunes can change in major championship golf. A single strong round can move a player from outside the picture into serious contention for the weekend. His efficient ball striking and clean scoring allowed him to climb the leaderboard at a critical stage of Round 2. Jackson Suber remained another notable name throughout the day. His round included both strong moments and setbacks, but he stayed close to the leaders throughout. Every birdie came with the challenge of avoiding a costly mistake on the next hole, which reflected the difficulty of scoring consistently at Royal Birkdale. Major championships rarely reward a perfect 4 rounds. More often, they reward resilience. Suber recovered repeatedly after difficult holes, keeping small setbacks from turning into larger ones. That balance kept him within striking distance as the leaderboard continued to change through the afternoon. Attention also stayed fixed on Rory McIlroy. Entering the second round at 2 over par, McIlroy needed a solid performance to strengthen his position before the weekend. His day opened with a promising approach into the first green. Reaching the first green in regulation, McIlroy faced an 18-foot birdie opportunity. Instead of taking excessive time over the reed, he played the putt with confidence. The ball missed to the right, denying an early birdie, but one important detail stood out. The speed of the putt was significantly improved compared with the previous day's struggles. During the opening round, McIlroy had faced clear problems with distance control on the greens. On Friday, even though the birdie did not fall, the pace of the putt suggested that an adjustment had been made to his stroke. McIlroy remained at 2 over par after the missed opportunity before continuing toward the first fairway. Although the scoreboard did not change immediately, the improved putting speed represented a positive sign as the round continued. In major championships, players and analysts often focus on process rather than immediate results. A missed birdie attempt does not automatically indicate poor execution. In McIlroy's case, the putt reached the hole with controlled pace but stayed just outside the right edge of the cup. That kind of small margin frequently separates a birdie from a par at the Open Championship. The greens at Royal Birkdale demand precise reads and consistent speed, and even a slight miscalculation can determine whether a putt drops or slides past the hole. As the round progressed, McIlroy worked to bring his score down and gradually improved his position on the course. Recovering after an opening par required patience rather than urgency. Every hole presented a fresh opportunity, and avoiding unnecessary mistakes remained just as important as making birdies. Several established contenders also stayed firmly involved in the tournament. Collin Morikawa continued positioning himself near the leading group through disciplined ball striking and careful course management. His strategy relied on accuracy rather than unnecessary aggression, an approach that proved effective at a demanding venue like Royal Birkdale. Cameron Young likewise remained within reach of the leaders. His combination of distance off the tee and controlled approach play kept him competitive even as conditions became more difficult through the day. Patrick Reed also remained among the players monitoring the leaders closely. Experience in major championships tends to carry more weight as a tournament advances, particularly once pressure increases during the weekend rounds. Weather played a direct role in shaping the scoring throughout Friday. Early starters generally faced calmer conditions, which allowed them to attack pins with more confidence. As forecasts pointed to stronger winds later in the day, every birdie recorded during the calmer stretch carried additional weight for those players' positions. Royal Birkdale has a long history of letting weather reshape an Open Championship. Wind direction changes club selection, alters approach angles, and makes recovery from a missed fairway considerably harder. Players recognized the importance of taking advantage of scoring chances before conditions turned more demanding later in the round. Course management stood out as one of the defining themes of Round 2. Players repeatedly selected conservative targets whenever the risk outweighed the potential reward. Accepting a par on a difficult hole often proved more valuable than attempting an aggressive shot that could quickly turn into a bogey or worse. That strategic discipline separated many of the leading performances from those who fell behind during the round. Each shot required weighing the opportunity in front of a player against the danger of a poor result. The leaderboard kept shifting throughout the day as groups worked their way through different sections of the course. Birdies produced immediate movement up the standings, while a single costly mistake could erase several holes of earlier progress in a matter of minutes. This constant movement reflected the depth of the field at this year's championship. Multiple players remained realistic contenders as Round 2 entered its later stages, which meant no single golfer had established full control of the tournament. As television coverage moved between the featured groups, contrasting styles of play were on display. Some competitors relied on powerful driving to shorten their approach shots, while others leaned on precision and careful positioning off the tee. Despite those different approaches, one factor connected the most successful rounds of the day. Consistent execution proved more valuable than isolated moments of brilliance. Avoiding big mistakes while steadily adding birdies turned out to be the most effective formula at Royal Birkdale. For McIlroy, every successful hole added confidence following his disappointing finish in the opening round. Recovering during a major championship requires sustained focus across all 18 holes rather than a single dramatic turnaround. His improved pace on the greens represented one technical adjustment with the potential to influence the rest of his tournament. Confidence with putting tends to build gradually, typically beginning with better speed control before additional birdie conversions follow. Meanwhile, Herbert's front nine remained one of the defining moments of the entire championship. Matching an Open Championship front nine scoring record highlighted both his execution and the scoring chances available to players who took advantage of the conditions early in the day. Wallace's 66 and Cole's 64 reinforced another important reality of major championships. Significant movement on the leaderboard remains possible during any round, and strong performances can come from players starting in very different positions, which prevents any early leader from feeling fully secure. Suber's continued presence near the top reinforced the same point from a different angle. Consistency across 2 rounds frequently carries more weight than isolated moments of brilliance. Staying near the leaders required a balance of patience, discipline, and efficient scoring throughout the round. As Friday moved toward its conclusion, attention increasingly turned toward the projected cut line. Every stroke carried extra weight for players trying to qualify for the weekend rounds. A late birdie could secure a valuable position, while a late bogey threatened to end a player's chances of playing through Sunday. Players competing near the cut line often experienced pressure equal to those competing for the outright lead. Advancing into the final 2 rounds represents a meaningful achievement at any major championship, and particularly at a demanding course like Royal Birkdale. With round 2 approaching its conclusion, the championship remained wide open. Herbert's record-matching front nine, Wallace's 66, Cole's 64, Suber's steady challenge, and McIlroy's effort to recover from his opening round setback ensured that multiple storylines would carry into the weekend. The leaderboard stayed tightly packed as the round closed out, forecasts continued to point toward tougher conditions ahead, and a large group of experienced contenders remained within reach of the lead. With the tournament moving into its decisive final rounds, every shot played over the weekend would carry direct weight in determining who ultimately lifted the claret jug at Royal Birkdale.